watching Good Morning Britain now. With just weeks to go until the World Cup kicks off, host country Qatar is facing growing criticism over its treatment of women, migrant workers and the LGBTQ+ community.
So perhaps it's no surprise that celebrities, including Robbie Williams, the Black Eyed Peas and David Beckham, are facing growing calls to cancel their involvement in the tournament.
So, according to Human Rights Watch, in Qatar, women must get permission from their male guardian to marry, to travel and to work in certain industries, to study abroad and get access to reproductive health care.
And I'm sure you know this, but sexual relations between two men, can incur up to 7 years in prison, and affairs, extramarital affairs between Muslims, are punishable by flogging.
There also have been reports that more than 6,500 migrant workers have died since Qatar won the right to host the World Cup.
Qatar says everyone is welcome, regardless of race, background, religion, gender, orientation or nationality.
But it has led to concern about all eyes being on this country at this time with those concerns about human rights. So, should celebrities boycott the World Cup? Joining us now is football journalist Alison Bender, who says celebrities can use going to Qatar as a chance to shine a light on human rights issues.
And LGBTQ+ rights campaigner Ramel Affleck, who says celebrities cannot be seen to be condoning the treatment of LGBTQ+ people in countries where they are being routinely persecuted. But, Alison, I'd like to start with you. I'd like to pick up on this argument of shining a light on the issues there, if you go. How can someone like Robbie Williams or the Black Eyed Peas do that, shine a light on the issues from the stage? They're not going to make a statement from the stage. And as for David Beckham, who is the face of the World Cup for Qatar, all he's done is make videos saying what a fabulous place it is to take your kids on holiday. So I don't quite see the logic of your argument.
It's a tricky one, but I also would argue that what can a boycott do as well, in a similar sense? I mean, what I will say is, although celebrities shouldn't be condoning this, I think that they shouldn't have been put in this position in the first place. I think it was an absolutely ludicrous decision to have the World Cup in Qatar when it was announced. Most people knew that there was no kind of footballing culture, the infrastructure wasn't ready, and then, of course, all of this comes to light, the LGBTQ+ communities, how they're treated, and the migrant workers as well. What I will say is, if, for example, someone like Robbie Williams decided just not to go, to boycott the event, maybe we talk about it for a few days and then no one would remember whether he was supposed to be there or not there.
Well, what good is he going to? Just explain that.
Well, yes, I mean, I believe he could make a statement. For example, Gary Neville has said he will not be silenced. He's put together a show highlighting some of the atrocities. And in fact, because of the light being shone on Qatar at the moment, things have already changed. So they've already banned one of the terrible laws at the moment about passports being taken away from migrant workers. That's already happened because of the conversation, the discussion. And I think by me coming in here and having this discussion and talking about it, I'm sure there are people out there that know so much more about the human rights atrocities than they knew a few years ago before this was awarded. I just don't think it's the responsibility of someone like Robbie Williams, of someone like the Black Eyed Peas, and I just don't know how much they can actually do. I think a conversation and dialogue is far more powerful.
Ramel, I mean, that is the other side of the argument, isn't it? One is that you're putting Qatar under a spotlight in the sense that, everybody's going to be looking at it and seeing the best of it. The other idea is that actually, if people don't go, you're closing your eyes to it and ignoring it, and it will continue.
I mean, for me, at the end of the day, I don't think it's good enough to suggest that we don't all have a responsibility to shed a light on this. History shows us that boycotts do work. When we band together and we take a stand and we say, actually, we don't think this is acceptable, things do happen. I mean, even in a UK context, we reflect back on, I was going to say the previous government, but the government before the last, I guess, where actually, LGBT organisations banded together to say, actually, we're not going to participate in this LGBT conference as a way of almost kind of whitewashing the UK government's record on human rights. And the same could be said for Qatar. We're in a situation where, Qatari LGBT people are in a dire situation they should never be facing in the first place. And we have, we're now in a position where we're almost kind of allowing the government to suggest that this is a wonderful place where we're all welcome.
Well, that's exactly what Beckham is saying. He is saying on tape, on video, and he's being paid millions to say this, that it is a wonderful place to go, and he's not going to change his tune soon now. And why I take
Yeah.
issue with you about Robbie, God bless him, and the Black Eyed Peas is I cannot see them making a statement from the stage because they're being paid a fortune to go there. They're not going there because they want to make a statement and shine a light. They're going there for money.
There is a difficulty there, and I know that, you know, some people like Elton John has condemned celebrities going over. Eric Cantona said about David Beckham that he's not quite sure what's going on there. I think it is a difficult situation. Just, Ramel, to your point about boycotts happening in the past and you know, making a difference, we've also seen situations where boycotts not happening have also made a difference. So, for example, 1936, the Olympics held in Berlin under the Nazi regime. A lot of people were saying, you know, we can't possibly go there. The Americans did go there, and Jesse Owens won 4 gold medals.
To the fury of Adolf Hitler, who was watching from the stands, and he walked out, didn't he? Because a black man had shown that he could actually win. But that was happenstance, wasn't it? I mean, that was good fortune that Jesse Owens actually turned out to be a winner. If he'd come 3rd, 4th or 5th, then it wouldn't have shone a light on anything. It wouldn't have been that powerful moment that you described. And it just seems, I don't know, it just seems to me that Robbie going to Qatar for money, and Black Eyed Peas going to Qatar for money, and David Beckham endorsing Qatar for money they're all endorsing the regime.
Should they be put? It's not fair that they're in this position.
Well, they don't have to say yes. They don't have to go.
The federations and the politicians who shouldn't have allowed this World Cup. It was similar with Russia. I went to Russia for the World Cup 4 years ago, and that was also...
Yes, but listen, Robbie and the Black Eyed Peas, no one's forcing them to go to Qatar. What do you mean it's unfair on them?
I feel that they've been put in that situation.
Well, they just say no.
It's their career, it's their money. Of course, someone like Robbie Williams doesn't need the money, but he would want to perform on the highest stage for certain. It is a difficult situation, but yeah.
OK, you made your argument.
I just think to say it's a difficult situation is it's just despicable. It doesn't make any sense for us to sit here, you know, in what feels like an ivory tower compared to the position that, as I say, Qatari LGBT people are in. You know, we have a situation where, as recently as last month, that, you know, we can see that those, you know, the rights of people are being infringed upon, people being imprisoned without legal counsel, all of those things that, unfortunately, from my perspective, just shouldn't be happening. And how on earth can we just sit here and allow the world stage to be given to?
All right, you both had your say. I'm afraid we're going to have to end it there. But thank you both very much for coming in. It's a tricky one. Thank you.
We do have a statement, actually, from Qatar World Cup Supreme Committee for Delivery and Legacy. The FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 will be an inclusive, safe tournament for more than 1 million fans visiting the country. Everyone is welcome. They talk as well about the advancement in workers' welfare, a legacy they're proud of, and one that they're already seeing in action. Like any country, there's always room for improvement, which is why our journey and commitment to workers' welfare will continue beyond the World Cup. But thank you very much indeed for the points that you've both made. Thank you.
We obviously contacted Robbie Williams and we contacted the Black Eyed Peas people, and we approached David Beckham too for their statements, any comment they wanted to make on this. But so far, we haven't heard a thing.